The iPower Evening Show.
Express your mind.
Good evening, everyone. DeMarco J in the building. This is Express Your Mind Doubleheader on the IPES. Yes, during the second hour. We do this every Monday and Wednesday. Normally we would do something wrong here on this Wednesday, but Ricky and Raphael are on vacay. And besides, it's the 4th of July. We'll touch on Independence Day in hour 4 during the EYM. And Ricky will be back tomorrow. I just spoke to him off air, and he's currently on hold right now for this next topic. We'll get to him in a minute. Well, I'm pretty sure you heard about what happened 2 weeks ago. That went national, talking about a boy's life cut short in the Tremont section of the Bronx, New York. 15-year-old Lesandro Guzman-Feliz Jr., whose dream was to be an NYPD police officer, had his life cut down by a Dominican gang in that area, who mistaken him for another person who allegedly had sex with one of the gang members' girlfriends on Snapchat. They found out it wasn't him, calling it mistaken identity. I mean, really? This kid cannot come back. This kid can't come back. This kid had a bright future. He was not into gangs. Most of the time, stayed out of trouble. Didn't bother no one. He usually minded his own business. He was a huge die-hard Yankees fan. And unfortunately, I saw the surveillance video inside and outside the bodega. That's now permanently closed for good. And yes, we saw those two nurses walking by as this young boy was being attacked by these thugs who knifed him in front of the bodega. Now, I can understand that those nurses were afraid and didn't want to put their lives in danger. Fine, I get that. But what really bothered me in the video we saw last week was a disgrace on the part of the owner and the employees of that bodega. This young boy, who was called Junior, who was running and hiding for his life when he ran into the bodega, jumped over the checkout counter to hide from these heartless hoodlums. The thugs spotted the boy, dragged him out of the bodega while the store manager and the employees just watched on with no kind of reaction, like this young boy didn't mean anything to these people running that bodega. The video shows this young boy being savagely murdered, while the people in that store had no sympathy, no emotions, no reactions, no nothing for this 15-year-old kid. In my opinion, those workers from that bodega are just as guilty as the thugs that knifed them to death. What is your take? It's Wednesday on this EYM doubleheader. Next, as I go to the phone lines.
Express your mind.
What is your take? Let's go to the phone lines. Ricky, you're next on iPower 1FM. Go ahead, Ricky.
Hey, what's happening, bro?
Hey, Ricky, how you doing, brother? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I'm just calling up during my vacation. I'll be back tomorrow. It is sad how this boy's life was taken by some punk asses who call this mistaken identity. I'm like, what?
Right.
There is no mistaken identity once that life you stole from that person. That's it. He ain't coming back.
Right, and this young man, Junior, at 15, already knew what he wanted to be when he grew up, and that was to be an NYPD detective. This young man did not deserve to be attacked like that. I feel the family's pain of losing a loved one.
Exactly, but I'm glad they closed down the bodega to send a message that people in the Bronx ain't gonna stand for that BS.
Right.
Y'all saw everybody come together in that part of the borough. Black, white, Latino.
I saw that.
Some black people in that area that cared for that part of the community in the BX.
Right, thanks for your call, Rick. See you tomorrow. Stacey J, you're next on iPower 1FM. Go ahead, Stace.
Yo, it's Stacey J.
Hey, Stace, how you doing, brother? Your take.
This is just my opinion, but I think those people from the bodega should be also charged for letting these thugs run into the store and drag that boy out of the store and stab him to death. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
No one deserves to be murdered like that for nothing.
No.
Because I got kids of my own, and we know how bad it can be living in the hood, surrounded by gangs in our neighborhoods. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Thanks for your call, Stace. Robert, you're next on iPower 1FM. Go ahead, Robert. Your take.
What a grand, DeMarco.
How you doing, brother?
All right, me want to say my condolences go out to the people them in the Bronx. That boy did not deserve that.
No.
No, man. He did not deserve that.
No, he did not.
And the ones that beat him, stab him and kill off the boy, Them need for put all of them in the electric chair and fry them backside.
So you're calling for the death penalty on these thugs that killed Junior in the Bronx?
Yeah, man, kill off all of them.
All right.
Them need for learn, man. Them rascals not have no goddamn respect for human life. And they want to go and take the little boy life.
Yeah.
Them have no shame, man.
I hear it in your voice, Robert. Thanks for your call.
All right, bye
Pete
now.
Sonny, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Pete Sonny.
What's happening, brother?
Hey, how you doing, brother? Your take.
First things first, my condolences go out to this young boy's family. I mean, a life cut too short over senseless violence once again in our communities. And when we saw the community in that section of the Bronx, from black to white to Latino, come together for this young boy in the hundreds, maybe in the thousands, that should be in every community, whether in the black community or even in the Latino community.
I agree.
Just like we saw last week.
Right.
And I also put the blame on the store managers that should have protected that boy like he was your very own.
Correct.
And they failed miserably, and I'm glad the store has been shut down permanently to send a message. If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem.
That's right.
And the community in that section of the Bronx shut them down for good.
Absolutely, Pete Sonny. Thanks for your call. Let me go to these last two calls before I reach our text. Clarence, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Clarence. Your take.
Hey, what's up, DeMarco?
How you doing, brother?
Yeah, first of all, I want to give my condolences to that family who lost their child who was still a kid. We had big dreams to become a police officer. I got a son around that age, and I tell this to my kids every day when they walk out the door. Kids, I love y'all, no matter what y'all do, but I pray to God every day that y'all gonna make it home to this crib safe and sound. And I mean that from the heart as a true father, you feel me?
Right.
And I'm sorry I have to say this. For these thug ass that killed that boy for no reason, I agree with the previous caller that said fry their ass. See, I've been to the Bronx. I know people in the BX. No mother or father should have to bury their own child over senseless violence, over mistaken identity.
No.
Salute to that young boy who's now in heaven, looking down, seeing the people that love them in the Bronx. You feel me?
Absolutely. Thanks for your call, Clarence. Ray Sean, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Ray Sean.
Hey, what up, DeMarco?
How you doing, my brother? Your take.
Yeah, first of all, my prayers and condolences go out to the family and for Junior, who already had a future and what he wanted to do in life. This young brother wanted to be an NYPD detective, serve his community in the Bronx. It is sad for a person of color to have his life cut short by these young thugs who have no life nor hope of their own. So they're going to take someone else's life and then come back and say that it was mistaken identity.
That's
That is
correct.
BS, because this ain't nothing new to the black community. When our people are gunned down on these streets by our own people living in the hoods like Boston, like New York, like Chicago, like down in New Orleans or down in Florida or even Los Angeles.
Right. Did you see everybody come together in that community of the Bronx? You had black and brown activists, regardless of race or nationality. Junior received a lot of love before and after his death. The family of Junior said that he was very funny and friendly in the community. This is a hard-working family who came over from the Dominican Republic to have a better life here in the United States. But for their youngest son's life to be taken so violently is not what they expected coming over here.
Oh, absolutely, because I have kids.
Right.
And no matter what the situation they're in, hug your children every day, love them with all your heart. Life is too short, because we don't know when our time is coming, if that kind of tragedy would happen to any of my kids. You feel me?
Right.
Look, I love how everyone from that community came together as one.
Yes.
They wanted that bodega shut down permanently, because those inside that store failed to protect this young kid from these thugs. And I say shut it down.
Right.
Shut it down.
You had several members of the Nation of Islam was there. Wow. Because don't forget, the Bronx is very diverse when you talk about black, African American. You had white folks from the community, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Latino, despite of the gang problems in that borough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The black community has always came out for our own kids when they get gunned down by some of these thugs.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I said, this should be a wake-up call to everybody. Not just black, white, Latino, everybody. Because we're all in the same boat, especially fighting for our people.
Right.
Later, my brother.
Thanks, Rashawn.
Incoming message.
Reading your text. This one is from Dino Santiago, who's from the Bronx, near Grand Concourse. He used to work here at iPower 1. Saludos, DeMarco. As a Dominican myself, my condolences go out to one of my peoples who should have been protected once he was in that bodega. We need justice for Junior, and I pray that family gets justice. I agree with that too, Dino, and it's nice hearing from you, brother. We surely miss you here at iPower. Rafael Castro from Ponce, Puerto Rico, who's on vacation. What up, Mark? Sending my prayers and condolences to my bro. I wish I could have met him because he reminds me of my son and my nephews who are funny and love life. I think the NYPD needs to fulfill his dream and have him sworn in as a police officer out of respect for the family. He should be honored now that his dream will not happen, cut down by senseless violence. Exactly, Sandro. They already did that already. So I give shout outs to the NYPD on that. And I said the same thing last week. And I posted that on social media that Lesandro Guzman-Feliz Jr. should be honored and sworn in as a police officer out of respect for the family. Once again, iPower One are sending our condolences out to the family who didn't deserve to lose his life that way in vain. It is so tragic. And please, God, give this family the justice that Junior's family deserves so that their son can finally rest in heaven for all eternity. All right, we're coming back later on for another EYM on iPower in Hour 4. Join us for that. 15 on the 1 music joint is up next. Keep it locked here on the IPES. Good evening.
Here we go. Mix it up for Friday, Wednesday. It's the iPower Evening Show.